Welcome to Stonehill College, the site for the final event of our celebration year 2025. I'm Dave Clifton here along with Vice Chair Dale Carrister. Although we're in our colonial outfits, we are so satisfied that we have been the leaders of a very active Tricentennial committee. It takes lots of people to make this year-round celebration happen. We have to be thrilled, Dale.
It has been an awesome year this year. We started off with a gala event here at Stonehill on January 4th. Had no idea how many people we were going to get. Thought maybe a few hundred. We ended up getting about 2,500. We went on from there to the Arts and Cultural Festival and then the June 14th Flag Day event and fireworks, followed by an awesome parade on July 12th and then a block party on September 6th, bonfire on October 11th, and here we are now back at the gala to close out the year.
And of course, we have pretty close to 700 folks in town that'll be joining us for the final event of the year. And of course, our theme has always been bringing families and the community together. And we thank so much ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for covering all the events to bring them to the community. And of course, it's been terrific working with the Select Board, the Tricentennial Committee, and all the coordinators of major events that took place, all well attended. And we have to thank the weatherman for providing us good weather throughout the year. Dale, it takes lots of people to make a celebration like this work. And of course, it takes sponsorships. We'd like to thank all the sponsors and donors for their generosity and hundreds of volunteers.
It's been an incredible effort. It's truly been a community-run year. In fact, these activities were started to do the planning in January of 2023. 10 folks appointed by the Select Board to serve on the committee, but we had scores more helping out and regularly coming to our meetings twice a month. And we had extraordinarily talented coordinators and volunteers to run all of our events. And we also had a series of community partnership events too, where a lot of other activities were going on, being put on by the other organizations in Easton.
And of course, we'd like to thank Stonehill College for hosting this event at their Sally Blair Ames athletic facility. And of course, we thank Father John, the president of the college, for making this available for the residents of the town of Easton. And a special thank you to ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. They have covered all of our events. We'll be back with more guests. Stay with us, folks. This is a very special night. We're at the anniversary gala here in 2025, the final event of our celebration year. With me is Chris Ventresco. He's the editor-in-chief of the anniversary book, which is going to come out at the end of this celebration. Chris, took a lot of hard work and a lot of people helping you out. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to assemble the book. We started with January 4th, covering the kickoff event. Actually, it even started before that with all the festivities like the beer launch at Shoveltown Brewery. So we've been covering all the events photographically, capturing candids of guests and residents of the town.
How many pages, Chris?
As of right now, we have 230 pages, and that's not counting tonight. And then we have some sponsorships, articles coming through. So,
you know, it's been a tremendous effort. And of course, the book cost $50. And you bought it about 600 books, and we're looking forward to the distribution. Can you throw out a guess as to when you think they may be available in 2026?
Yeah, so I mean, the latest that I would expect to have is by like the first week, somewhere in like the March ballpark. We're hoping earlier. We're hoping by mid-February to have all the books, and but we're just wrapping up with all the articles and photos. So.
Again, we want to thank you. We want to thank your family for the use of the studio. And of course, this is going to be a safe keep for everybody to have at the end of the year. Thank you again, Chris Ventresco, the editor-in-chief of anniversary book that'll be available in 2026. It's a safe keep, something you want to have. We're back at Stonehill College for the 2025 uh, Gala. It's our anniversary and, of course, the final event of our anniversary celebration year. With me right now, Brian Hoffman. Brian, I can't thank you enough for.
Welcome. It's been my pleasure to work with you all these years, and everything went beautifully. And tonight looks like it's no exception. So
We lucked out with the weather for most everything that we've had during the year. We've had no cancellations, but getting back to our show called Easton 300, we did about 26 to 30 shows since we started. We've had everybody on, and we've talked about the importance of the community celebrating the history of this town. You've been around for a while, so you know about the town.
I have, and I don't think there's anything more fitting than to have this kind of a gala to cap off what has been an incredible year of celebration, of community, and of people finding out more and more and more how terrific it is to live in this town. So, I couldn't be happier. I think kudos to you, the committee, and all of the volunteers who did an amazing job on some really incredible events. So I think you and the town and the committee deserve an awful lot of thanks.
Welcome back to Stonehill College. Again, we're here for the Easton 300th Anniversary Gala. The crowd is starting to pour in. And my guest right now, Ken Michael. Ken, of course, the president of the Easton Historical Society and a guy who's provided great leadership throughout the year. Ken, what can you say about this year as we come to the finale?
Thank God it's over. Actually, it's been a great year. It's been a great team to work with. We've gotten a lot of success. I think the community is happy with the results. And I think that's evident by tonight's turnout, given the fact that we have about 680 people that have signed up to come. And we were only anticipating originally 500. I think that tells you there's been a successful year. And it's all as a result of the great leadership that we got from Linda Clifton, who was managing Dave Clifton every step of the way. So 3 cheers to Linda and 3 cheers to the committee. It's been a great committee. It's been a great experience. And all kidding aside, Dave's done a great job. Without his leadership, we probably could have got it done a lot sooner, but we are where we are. Thank you, Dave.
And thank you, Ken, and thank you for all the historical events that took place during this 2025 year. It's been a great year of community and families coming together. And we thank all the volunteers and, of course, all the sponsors and donors. We couldn't have done it without them.
Without the sponsors.
Welcome back once again. We're at Stonehill College. We're expecting close to 700 people in attendance for the final event of our celebration year. With me on my right is Ed Han. Ed is, I shouldn't say Ed Han. I'm sorry. Ed Han is next. But Mike Good.
Yep.
And Mike, thank you for all the marketing and coordinating of promoting this year-round celebration. Here we are at the finale.
Made it. We finally made it. And thank you for your leadership throughout, I don't know how long, it started about 10 years ago, it feels like now, but we made it. Every event has exceeded expectations, I would say. We started, the first meeting, I had no idea what this would all entail, but the year has been amazing. Friends and folks that I talked to that have attended any of the events have been amazed. I'm looking forward to tonight. And again, like I said, Dave and Dale have done a tremendous job as our chairs, getting, groupthink can be a hard thing to get through. Everyone has great ideas, but their leadership got us through this. So thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
And thank you, Mike. Also with me is one of the youngest gentlemen in our community, one of our sponsors, and we thank you so much for your generosity. Tell our viewing audience who you are, where the business is located, and tell the audience how young you are participating in this celebration.
First of all, it was a pleasure being with you through this whole thing. And my corporation is SP Enterprise. It's right on 329 Depot Street near the Fernandes, Ace Hardware. And we've been there 60 some years. So it's been a pleasure. And being involved with you, it's been an upstated thing. It's been an upstated thing. And I'm so pleased to be with you again.
And of course, folks, as you take a look at this gentleman, he's 93 years of age. He acts like a guy who is in his early 70s. But we are forever grateful to you for all the good things you've done. He was Uncle Sam in the parade. He was on every float that we've had scattered throughout the celebration. We're forever grateful to you.
Real pleasure.
Folks in town are still piling in here at Stonehill College. We're at the Sally Blair Ames Athletic Facility. It's the final event of our celebration year. And what a year it's been, folks. And with me right now is the chair of the Easton Select Board, Dottie Fuginetti. And Dottie, thank you so much for appointing the Tricentennial Committee back in 2022.
It's my pleasure. We've been leading up to this for years, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Avery Lee Williams, who had been talking about this for at least 5 years. He had a birthday celebration once and asked people in lieu of presents to please donate to the Tricentennial Fund. This is beyond my wildest dreams. This year has just been so amazing to see the community come together through, challenging times in our society and just enjoy all these events. Dave, you, Dale, the Tricentennial Committee have just been amazing. Every single event surpassed our expectations. And you had so much fun doing it. And I don't know what we're going to do next year, but we're going to have to find some more fun things to do together.
I know lots of folks have been asking that question. Is the celebration coming to an end? And my response has been, it's not coming to an end. It's really the continuation of families and community coming together to share in a community very much that cares. And thank you and the board for all of their cooperation, as well as the department heads to make this possible. Folks, we're enjoying ourselves at the final event of this celebration year, 2025. And Dottie, can you believe 1725 to 2025? What a year it's been.
It has. And one of the exciting things that I'd like to mention is opening up the time capsule from 1975. And, really just thinking back, a lot of those people are, not here with us anymore, or they're a lot older. In 50 years from now, our future leaders aren't even born yet, probably, or they're toddlers right now. So I hope the people that are younger, that did do things, family events, that are little kids, they'll be a lot older in 50 years. And I hope they remember what a great year this was and look forward to it in another 50.
I won't be here in the next 50 years, but I do intend to fly over just to check on things. Welcome back to the Easton 300th anniversary gala here at Stonehill College. Lisa Fields joins me right now. She's our state representative. And what a year this has been, Lisa.
This has been a fabulous year. What a great job you and the others on the committee have done to celebrate Easton's 300th. Each event just gets better and better, and what a way to top it off. So exciting.
We expect pretty close to 700 residents that are joining us this evening. And as you can see in the background, folks, the weather didn't hold anybody up. We got a great crowd, and it's been that way all year with just about every event that we've had. Lisa, we wanted to thank the state for the healthy donation they made towards the celebration. And of course, we couldn't have done it without the generosity of everybody in town.
Just terrific, both the sponsors and the different donations, as well as we were happy to come through on the state end of things. Just wonderful how everyone came back together for such a great community event.
And one of the exciting things was the selection of our theme, bringing families and community together. And I got to say, Lisa, I know you're our state rep, one of our 2 state reps, but the fact is it actually did happen. People in the community came together for just about every event. And I think that's what the hope that any community has.
Exactly. And what a beautiful way to celebrate community. And it was so wonderful. All the different events included so many different types of families as well. There were kids events as well as for the entire family, and then tonight's gala. It was just beautiful, the entire thing. Wonderful to see everyone come together.
And of course, the name of the game has been service. There's been lots of folks here that work in the town that have been providing service for years. Can you imagine 1725 to 2025? And I've always said as we end this interview, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of helping others. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Okay.
Have a great night and congratulations.
Welcome back to Stonehill College, the final event of our 2025 year. As we celebrate 300 years,
That's amazing.
can you believe 1725 to 2025?
Wow.
And Congressman Stephen Lynch, it's what an honor it is to have you joining us.
Oh, this is my honor. This is my honor. You know, what a wonderful celebration, great event, and such a body of history that parallels our country's history. So, you know, the history of Easton is really a reflection of the history of the United States from the Revolution to today. So there's a direct line of causation between the stuff that was going on here in the early 1700s and where we are today. So,
You know, it's amazing, Congressman. It seems like just yesterday I was chairing the 250th anniversary for the town of Easton and interviewing Congressman Bill Keating.
yeah.
And here I am in Easton, and it's the 300th. And what a year this has been. It's been absolutely
And
fabulous.
I'm sure Bill Keating is a dear friend of mine, and I'm sure he wishes you well and wishes you the greatest congratulations as well.
As a matter of fact, he used to say that the best job he had was working at the waterfront over in Sharon. But we're in Easton, and what a celebration this has been. We've had a theme from the beginning till the end called Bringing Families and the Community Together. And I think that's what makes Easton so special,
Absolutely.
that we need more positivity.
Yeah.
And as you look around, Congressman, you see the crowd that's here this evening.
I heard it was a sellout.
They've had a fun year. Yes, we have been sold out. What kind of suggestions or recommendations could you give the Easton community?
Well, just keep doing what you've been doing. I think, you know, in many ways, the town of Easton is a shining example of what's best about America. You take care of your kids. I mean, I don't think there's a better public school system than the Oliver Ames and the Easton school system. You take care of your seniors. You take care of your veterans. So towns that do that are generally on the right course. And, you know, I have a wonderful honor of appointing young people to the military academies, either West Point or Annapolis or the Air Force Academy of Colorado Springs. And just like in its early days, there were citizens from Easton who came forward to join the militia at Lexington and Concord. There are still kids from Easton that are applying and being accepted to our military academy. So there's that tradition, which is wonderful and something that Easton should be very proud of.
It has been my honor and my privilege to interview Congressman here at the anniversary gala. We thank ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for covering all of our events, including tonight's gala. Thank you so much, Congressman.
Thank you, Dave. I love
Yeah.
your outfit.
And I love South Boston too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Welcome, Easton, to the 300th Anniversary Celebration Gala. Woo! 300 years, actually to be exact, 300 years and 6 days ago, this town was formed when it was incorporated by an act of the General Assembly. That, however, was not the beginning of the story for the town of Easton. In fact, the Josiah Keith family and the settlers at the time started petitioning to become a separate town in 1707, 18 years before. 2 petitions were submitted to the town of Taunton, seeking permission to become a separate precinct from the Taunton North Purchase. Taunton said no. Josiah Keith and the other settlers were not deterred, and in fact filed a petition with the General Assembly on October 20th of 1708. That too was denied. More petitions were to follow. Our forebears were a persistent lot. They filed petitions in 1709, 1711, 1715, 1722, and 1725 before ultimately the General Assembly granted the petition for Easton to become a separate town. At that point, Easton had 40 to 50 families, had built a house of public worship, and was deemed to have sufficient resources to support a minister. As part of the Articles of Incorporation, Josiah Keith was summoned to call the first town meeting of Easton, which took place on March 2nd, 1726, and he was appointed as moderator, selectman, and assessor. Fast forward 300 years of remarkable history, and here we are on December 27, 2025. Just as our ancestors owed a debt of gratitude to Josiah Keith, we owe a debt of gratitude to our esteemed chair of the Tricentennial Committee, Dave Clifton. A lot of us like to think that we get involved in community service, whether we do youth coaching or some other activity, but Dave is somebody who has devoted his life to public service. He served in the U.S. Army National Guard for 7.5 years before working as the Director of Parks and Recreation for Sharon, creating a community center and recreation programs for the entire community of Sharon. He served as the past president and district governor of the Rotary Club, was a high school basketball coach, and also was a broadcaster for the Stonehill College basketball team. We here in Easton are thankful that Dave and his wife Linda decided to settle in Easton. Dave has toiled long and hard, just like Josiah Keith did, to form the Tricentennial Committee, which started its work in January 2023, nearly 3 years ago. Dave has been dedicated to the mission of bringing families and community together. He is gracious and grateful always, persistent and dedicated, selfless and kind and generous. See the pole banners around town? That was Dave. See all the signature events? that were organized through the year with generous support from our sponsors. That was Dave. It's been an absolute privilege to serve alongside Dave. He has led and inspired us to work with him towards the mission of fulfilling, bringing families and community together. Please rise and welcome and acknowledge our dedicated, visionary, and inspired leader, Dave Clifton. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dale. Please take your seats. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Easton residents, federal, state, and local officials, and our special guests that join us this evening here at Stonehill College. Welcome to the Easton 300th Anniversary Gala, the final event of our Tricentennial celebration 2025. What a year this has been. Celebrating the history of Easton, Massachusetts. Can you believe, folks? 1725 to 2025. 8 signature events, numerous sponsorship events. The kickoff event last January at Stonehill. The Family Fun Day at Langwater Farm. The Art and Cultural Festival at Oak Ames Memorial Hall. How about the fantastic fireworks, the flag ceremony, the flyover, concerts, and a family picnic, all at the high school complex? How about the giant parade in July, the block party at Governor Ames' estate, the bonfire, that was huge. Bonfire, barbecue, concerts, car show, Halloween parade, the gala, and lots of historical events. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, while you're enjoying your salad, I would like to introduce our Tricentennial Committee, the spark behind the celebration. 10 members appointed by the Select Board during the year 2022. Their first meeting was in 2023, and they've had 80+ meetings since, planning and organizing a year-round celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask our Tricentennial to please stand when I call your name. Dale Carister, our Vice Chair. Ken Michael from the Historical Society, thank you for your leadership. Jeanette Camara, our treasurer, she pays the bills. Diane Lusardi, our secretary. Roz Miller, assistant secretary. Courtney Pupkin, our fundraiser. Mike Good, marketing. Joan Lundgren, historical events. Craig Badger, our Select Board member appointed to the Tricentennial Committee. Thank you so much. And our honorary co-chairs, Fred Ames and Bill Ames. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask our Vice Chair, Dale Carister, if he would introduce the coordinators of all of our major events throughout the year 2025. Can you believe none of them were canceled? The weatherman cooperated. What a year we've had. Come on, Dale.
I was not born in Easton, but I consider myself to be of Easton for a lot of different reasons. It started off when we moved in shortly before December of 1993, and the neighborhood showed up somewhat inebriated, singing some Christmas carols on a cold, wet day. Yeah, and they're still here today, and they're still drinking, by the way. We have had a community of folks who have been dedicated to bringing families and community together. Whether it was Ken Wood and the Easton Lions Club providing a safe place to skate at Yardley Wood Rink, Bob Peoples and the Boy Scouts teaching our sons how to camp and have memorable experiences, whether it was coaches Neil Levine, Judy Copley, and Kyle Souza teaching our sons and daughters about integrity, commitment, hard work, sacrifice, and perseverance. Whether it was Lee Williams leaning into the car when I thought I was just dropping off some junk on Junk Day in 2002, and he asked, have you ever thought about being a Lions member? And the car couldn't move forward, couldn't move behind. I was stuck. And a special shout out to the folks who are helping those in our community who need an extra hand. The Easton Food Pantry, the Easton Lions, the Easton Women of Today, the Garden Club, the VFW, the American Legion, We Do Care, and so many others who have extended themselves. These are truly angels doing wonderful work. We all have similar stories to tell about how we've been touched and why Easton has become home to us. All of you know those stories about how and why this is a place that we call home. And this past year, those stories converged because of the people who took the time and effort from their daily lives to put together an extraordinary year of events. I'd like to acknowledge those folks, and what I'm going to ask them to do is I'm going to identify the folks for each event, and I'll have you stand up. And for anybody who volunteered at those events, if you could stand up, hold your applause to the end, please, and I'll try to be quick. The kickoff event, Anne-Marie Taylor and Amanda Hurley, January 4th. Arts and Cultural Festival, Joan Lundgren and Diane Lusardi. Flag Day Tribute, Picnic and Fireworks, Jessica Zimmerman and Adam Gunn. Parade, July 12th, Corey Ahonen, Al Provost, Linda Tracy Clifton, and Craig LaPro. Block Party, Dan and Jamie Anderson and your Temple band people. The Bonfire, Justin Alexander. And finally, the gala here today, Anne-Marie Taylor and Amanda, and they did an extraordinary job. The anniversary book. By the way, we had a meeting recently on the anniversary book. It's going to be coming out in about February or March. It is extraordinary. Thanks to Chris Ventresco and his team with Ann Dreeker and others, Linda Braxton, for putting that extraordinary book together. The website and calendar with John Tracy and Sally Zussman, and our logo, Piper Janales. You like that little logo around? It was awesome. We had community partnership events, Langwater Family Fun Day with Tom and Karen Hetzel, the Easton Lions Celebration of History with Rob Goodrich, Sherry Anderson, Andrew Parker, and the entire Lions Club, Borderland Car Show with Dale Thistle, Echoes from the Past, Elaine Sears, Easton Food Pantry Halloween Parade with Ken Wood, Easton 300 Criterium Bike Race with Jack Moet, Interfaith Thanksgiving Service with Rabbi Ken Carr and the Interfaith Clergy, and the Easton Historical Society open houses with Ken Michael and the historical tours with Ed Hands and the open house with Justin Lewinter. And lastly, none of this would have happened without the men and women of the Town of Easton departments. And I'd like those who are in attendance to please stand. A special thank you to Chief Boone and the entire police department, Chief Justin Alexander and the entire fire department, Director David Field and the DPW, all the men and women of the police, fire, and Department of Public Works and other departments for making this welcome. Thank you for all you did.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my remarks, let me say what an honor it has been, both Dale and myself, to coordinate the leadership for this celebration. Much appreciation to all the donors, the sponsors, and we thank them for their generosity. Thank you to the hundreds of volunteers throughout the community for sharing their time, their talent, their ideas, their resources to make a difference here in Easton, Massachusetts. The song that you hear in the background is What a Wonderful World. And what a wonderful world it is because of Easton, Massachusetts. This is a community that always gives family a top priority. I say to each and every one of you, stay active, stay involved, stay healthy, stay positive. I've been asked a few times, how do you feel, Dave, now that the celebration has come to an end? My response, it is not the end. It is the continuation of families and the Easton community coming together for future endeavors. This is a time strong families make strong communities. This is a time for gathering all the best of a good family life in Easton, Mass, holding it close to your hearts. God bless the USA. God bless Easton, Massachusetts. Thank you, ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for covering a year full of events. Dale, let's tip our hats to the Easton community. Thank you, and again, God bless you all.
I'd now like to introduce the chair of the Easton Select Board, Dottie Fulgenetti.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to celebrate 350 years of history, pride, and community with all of you, and one of the many reasons I'm so proud to live in this community of Easton. This has been an exciting year of celebration for our community and would not be possible without Dave Clifton, Dale Carrister, our remarkable Tricentennial Committee, our outstanding town leadership and staff, our generous donors and sponsors, and of course, the entire Easton community. A very special thank you to Father Denning and Stonehill College for their extraordinary partnership and for hosting us on this magnificent campus. I'm honored to recognize my fellow select board members, Craig Bodger, Mark Lamb, Jamie Stebbins, Jennifer Stacy, our town administrator, Connor Reed, our assistant town administrator, Sean Dugan, our executive secretary, Elizabeth Haig. We're also grateful to be joined by our state representatives, Bridget Plouffe and Lisa Field, and our senator, Bill Driscoll. I hope you and your family remember and treasure the memories of this year and pause to think about all the wonderful things we're doing together to keep Easton an exciting community that our future leaders will look back on with pride. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Congressman Stephen Lynch, a proud champion of communities and of the people who make them strong. Congressman Lynch, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. My name's Steve Lynch, and I have the wonderful honor of representing the town of Easton in the United States Congress. First of all, Reverend Clergy, Father Denning, thank you for your blessing. Senator Driscoll, Representative Plouffe, Representative Field, Commissioner Dick Stady, thank you, my colleagues. To all my colleagues in town government for the town of Easton, let me first of all begin my gratitude for being allowed to join in this historic tricentennial celebration for the town of Easton. Great thanks as well to Dave Clifton, Dale Carrister, and all of the members of the Tricentennial Commission for all the great work that you've done throughout the year. You know, as a student of history, I'm keenly aware of the importance of the role that the town of Easton and many of its earliest families played in the American Revolution, in the struggle for independence, the birth of our nation, and the formation of our democracy. It is indeed noteworthy that some of Easton's earliest residents answered the call at Lexington and Concord, and that the town and some of its earliest businesses played a pivotal role in supplying George Washington and Henry Knox's Continental Army with the weaponry, the equipage, the sustenance, the militiamen, and the soldiers necessary to prevail in 8 years of war between the battle on Lexington Green to the Treaty of Paris against the world's greatest superpower at that time. It is also commendable, I think, that as my congressional office continues to nominate young men and women for admission to the military academy at West Point and at Annapolis and our national service academies, young people today from Easton regularly continue to honor that willingness to serve their nation. And of that, you should be proud. So in many respects, the history of Easton and its development is the history of our nation. There is a direct line of causation between those earliest town meetings at Josiah Keith House in South Easton in the early 1700s, which established the example of participatory government and the advancement of democratic ideals that were articulated in the Declaration of Independence many years later and continue to resonate and provide guidance to our nation, a tradition that is alive and well in Easton to this day. In closing, I offer my congratulations to the Tricentennial Committee and to the families of Easton on a remarkable 300th anniversary, and I express my sincere gratitude for the honor of representing you in the United States Congress. God bless you all and congratulations. Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Easton's 300th Gala. Give yourselves a round of applause. Easton, not bad for 300. You don't look a day over 299. Now, this is the 300 Gala, not to be confused with the Sparta 300 movie, where there was shredded Greek men defending ancient Greece half naked. Sorry to disappoint, this is not that. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Youssef. I'm the grandson of Lee Williams, and it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. I'm a local attorney, and Lee Williams made it a point to help make this gala happen, and I'm honored to speak for him. Lee, of course, is not with us, but he's smiling from above. Thank you to the committee for Easton's 300th anniversary gala. Amanda was emailing us on Christmas, so a lot of people put a lot of hard work into this. Give it up for yourselves, the residents of Easton. How about a round of applause for making this awesome event happen? Thank you to Stonehill College, my mom and dad, Hala and Kevin Williams. Give it up for Baltazar, keeping the energy and the vibes up. I'm humbled to speak on behalf of my late grandfather, Lee. I take after my grandfather in many ways. The gift of gab, arguable. The love of travel, certain. And his good hair, well, his good hair in his younger years. A little bit about Lee for the people who don't know him. Let me pull back the curtain on the man, the legend. He was a very successful founder of 3-generation wealth management firm. 3 generations. Lee found his way from humble beginnings here, being born in Easton, where he was bit by a baby snake. That story found its way to the local newspaper. Don't worry, his luck in life got better. To becoming a wealthy world traveler. He shared his travel adventures with videos from the 1990s and 2000s here in the local Easton cable channel. You probably recognized his late night TV show, Travel with Lee and Betty. But for a man who traveled the world, he was always grounded in his roots. Essentially, he never left Easton. He always had a saying, lead me to the river. If he took one bite out of that steak, you would have got to lead me to the river. And really, whenever he got excited, he had, for any occasion, a saying or a poem to accompany it. He was a man moved by passion, his love for literature evident. Even at a moment's notice, he could recite Shakespeare and Geoffrey Chaucer in Old English. And hear ye, he was a champion of charity and so involved with the Lions Club here in Easton. A quick story about Lee. He was such a man of the people, making friends everywhere he went. And I remember fondly, at a family trip to Italy, a musician peddler in Italy playing a beautiful accordion for our family in the hopes of getting some money from the newfound tourists from Easton. Lee liked to hand out mementos and gifts to newfound friends along his travels, and in this case, it was a silver American coin. When the smiling accordion player inspected his new gift from Lee, he asked Lee if he had any euros so that he wouldn't be troubled with going to the bank and exchanging it for local currency. Lee smiled back and replied, "Kiss my ass." Sorry, Father Neil, but Lee would want me to get that story accurately. Grandpa Lee was generous with his money, but he wasn't a sucker. No doubt the town of Easton helped shape Lee into the vivacious, energetic, and charitable legend that he is. I can still hear him say, Easton is the best kept secret in Massachusetts. Yeah, give it up. The best secret in Massachusetts. However, this secret is not so secret anymore. This secret has become public knowledge. So much so that female rap sensation Cardi B has heard Grandpa Lee's cries of this famous saying and has acted upon it. And she has decided to join all of us. She bought a house and is now putting her own roots here in Easton, Mass. Give it up for Cardi B. We got a lot of Cardi B fans. And there's no doubt in my mind that if Lee were still with us, he would be actively recruiting Cardi B and her companion, Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs, to the Easton chapter of the Lions Club. He would say, Cardi B, have you thought about joining the Easton Lions Club? He'd probably convince her to join, I'm sure of it. Donating money is wonderful, but donating your time is the most valuable commodity. If we've learned anything from Lee's involvement with the town of Easton and the Lions Club, and in this room of nearly 1,000 people, he would actually be here rubbing his hands together and thinking what a great opportunity to recruit new members to the Lions Club. And while we might be sisters from a different mister or brothers from another mother, we were all put on earth to do the same thing, leave it a better place. Lee, I know you did all you could and succeeded in leaving Easton a better place. Lee brushed shoulders with common folk, celebrities, and even politicians. In fact, I got a note here from the President of the United States, who probably couldn't be here tonight, but wanted me to read a message dedicated to Lee. Lee Williams, such a great guy, such a winner, and I like winners. No one was more charitable than me, Donald J. Trump, but after me, it was definitely Lee. You've heard of MAGA? Well, let me introduce you to MAGA. Make Easton great again. Believe me, you wouldn't want to see Easton before Lee was born. What a disaster, such a disaster. But now Easton is winning and winning big, and soon they'll say, sir, Easton is winning too much, and we're getting tired of all the winning. Thank you. Can you believe they gave me the mic? In closing, Lee was definitely the life of the party. He was no stranger to the dance floor. You could always find him dancing with his famous straw hat and sunglasses. And we have a gift, another gift for everyone here from Lee Williams. We have a whole bunch of complimentary straw hats and sunglasses right in front of the DJ booth right here. You just have to promise to wear them on the dance floor. As Lee would always say, we're allowed to have a little fun. And he insisted to me that you always make time for it. So don't be shy. I want to see everybody on the dance floor. Even yours truly will be on the dance floor. And as Lee would commonly say, you don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy holidays, God bless. It's now my honor to introduce the next speaker, my very own sister, Nora Yusuf.
Good evening. Oh, come on, come on. I've got some important words to hear, and I want to make sure I have your attention. So let me hear the alcohol in your voices. Good evening. Much. Well, my name is Nora Yusuf, and it is my deepest honor to stand before you tonight at this magnificent gala, the culmination of Easton's Tricentennial year, celebrating our own town's 300th anniversary. As Avery Lee Williams' granddaughter, I had the extraordinary privilege of not only growing up in his vibrant orbit, but also working side by side with him and his son, Kevin Williams, as a fellow financial advisor at RBC Wealth Management here in Easton at the practice that he started. Lee was more than family. He was my mentor, inspiration, and a true force of nature whose grit, wisdom, and generosity shaped countless lives, including mine. So tonight, I want to celebrate the man whose visionary funding made this very celebration possible, leaving an enduring legacy for the town he loved so fiercely. Lee's life story is a quintessential Easton tale. Let me explain. One of rising from humble roots with unyielding determination, much like our town itself. Born in 1935, right here in Furnace Village during the depths of the Great Depression, a self-proclaimed Furnace Village rat, Lee survived childhood adventures that could fill a book. The poisonous, venomous snake bite that made the Boston Globe front page. A near drowning in a cesspool, a fall into a well, and even a kerosene-induced coma. What? We can't make this up. Nothing came easy for him. And he turned every hardship into fuel for growth. From picking strawberries at the age of 10 for 10 cents an hour, how about that? Having to buy his own clothing starting from the tender age of 12. Delivering newspapers on 6 days a week for 3 years by bike. Never missing one day out of 3 years. Whether he was sick or even in a harsh winter blizzard, he still made it. Working the orchards and poultry farms barefoot, to haying fields and mastering organic gardening, he built his future one hardworking day at a time. Just as Easton evolved from its early bog iron forges and Furnace Village and modest farms to the world-renowned Ames Shovel Company, looking at you, Fred, powering America's railroads and westward expansion, Lee forged his own path. Graduating from Oliver Ames High School in 1953 with a small fortune saved, the equivalent of about $60,000 today at the age of 18, not too shabby. He earned his degree from Bridgewater State despite his father's doubts and continued to raise rent on him. Served in the National Guard and headed to Wall Street. Rising from clerk to licensed stockbroker in New York City, homesick for Easton, he returned to build a thriving financial practice, eventually with family at RBC Wealth Management, always reinvesting his success back into our community. What defined Lee most was his boundless enthusiasm and forward-thinking spirit. He got out of bed every morning, not just but to have a lot of fun. To embrace life with a warm heart, wit, and that infectious energy. Whether doing 10 springs in a row to entertain farmhands in his younger years, running his gentleman's farm on 2 for teaching organic 4-H and good manners inner city kids, or speaking extemporaneously on everything from poetry to investing. He approached every day with optimism, always planning ahead to nurture what mattered most: people and place. As a devoted Easton Lions for decades, living the motto, and if you know it, Lions, say it with me: not above you, not beneath you, but with you. Lee planted the seeds everywhere. Strangers became friends in minutes. He recruited over 250 members with his famous line, "Has anyone asked you to join the Lions?" Upon his passing, I read over his large stash of follow-up index cards. On one of the first I read, he noted, "Mr. So-and-so said no and hung up the phone on me." Lee spoke to himself, "Not right now. Follow up in 18 months. He grew our Lions Club to be one of the best in the nation, founding thriving initiatives and poured his heart into Easton, civic life, ACs to government volunteerism, donating the town's signature clock on Main Street, the stage at Cruset Garden behind the library, an indoor reading room at the NRT, and much more. Like Easton, see, transitioning from an industrial powerhouse to a vibrant residential town with a strong community, Lee reinvented himself while honoring his roots, reinvesting his harvest into the soil of this town to make it inviting for families and, of course, Massachusetts' best kept secret. His imprint is everywhere, and the connections he forged and the youth that he mentored, the generosity he shared, and tonight, in this gala closing our 300th year, we feel his presence most profoundly. By establishing a fund to support this tricentennial, Lee ensured we'd celebrate our past while looking ahead, just as he always did. Working with him, I saw the strategic foresight, turning his personal achievement into communal ripples that touch generations. Because that's the magic, isn't it? Our actions create ripples, spreading outward like a thrown stones and new pond. These ripples intertwined with Easton's 3 centuries of progress inspire us still. He wanted to prove that someone from simple means, a Furnace Village kid who did it the hard way, could achieve greatness. He'd often say with a knowing grin and smile, "If I can do it, you can do it too." Getting the last word etched on his gravestone, it reads, "I told you I was sick." It really does. He reminds us to truckle, live life fully, and give back. So as we raise our glasses here tonight, grab them, let's toast to Avery Lee Williams, loudly so he can hear us from up above. The farmer of hearts, the builder of community, the man whose life paralleled Easton's remarkable journey, and the man who rose up from the dirt and lifted us all higher. Cheers. Lee, we miss you, but your spirit shines bright. And as we head home and embark upon a century upon us, I want you to ask yourselves, what ripple will I create? What seeds will I plant for our future? Because the farmer in Lee and the timeless spirit of Easton would love to see what we harvest together. Thank you, and happy 300th anniversary to our extraordinary town.
Good evening, folks. My name is Kevin Williams. I'm the son of Avery Lee Williams, and I had the pleasure of working and having him as my father and mentor and life coach. And thank you, kids. Great tribute. And thank you, committee, for this tribute to Lee Williams. As Nora mentioned, Lee was a consummate planner. And it was around 2015, it was Lee's 80th birthday. And we had a big bash for him up at the Easton Country Club. And he said, you know, instead, I have everything I need. How about folks just make a contribution to the Town of Easton's 300th anniversary celebration in lieu of a gift? And that's where it started. So he was planning 10 years ago to raise some funds for this event. Well, as Lee started to slow down, it was 2021 and things came in on him quickly. We got a little chance to talk and he said, Kev, listen, I want you to, after I'm gone, I want you to continue to support the volunteerism in the Town of Easton, the civic organizations that I love. And how about the volunteerism for this committee? It's just a wonderful, wonderful crew. So what we did, the Williams family has established the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation. And tonight, the foundation would like to start planning for the 325th anniversary of the Town of Easton. And we'd like to donate $25,000 to start that off. And I hope I'm going to be here for the 325th, but we'll do the best we can. Thank you.
So it's drama in the club, yeah, and I vote for Dre. Everybody show me love. Can you say go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, 'cause that's your birthday.
Yes, we've just cut the cake, folks, for the anniversary yearbook that'll come out in the year 2026. What a year it's been for 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, Dale, our vice chair, is going to lead us in our favorite song.
You really don't want me singing, so I really need some help here. We're going to sing a happy birthday to Easton, if we may. Can I have a show of hands who's going to sing along? Please? Please, you really don't want to hear me. All right, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Easton. Happy birthday to you. And I've only had 2 bourbons so far, just so you know. All good.
Nice job, Dale, and thank you, members of the Select Board. Our Town Administrator, we wish you nothing but the best in your new endeavor. Put your hands together, folks. Connery. And Sean, we thank you for all the good things you have done for our celebration. Final comment by our Select Board representative on the Tricentennial Committee.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to say what a privilege it's been to serve on this Tricentennial Committee for the last year. And I thank you all for being here tonight, celebrating this wonderful occasion.
And of course, service is the name of the game in the Town of Easton. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of helping others. Thank you all very much.